Aloha is your Unc Burpee Yoga Uncle. Gonna make this crab into 避風塘蟹, which is Typhoon shelter garlic crab. Super easy recipe, everything in the first 2 minutes. Here we go, man. Munchy. Fitness, foodies, and the fabulous absurd. From burpees to Camus, you're never gonna know what you're gonna get from your Unc Burpee Yoga Uncle. Alright, ingredients gonna be in the description. I use minced garlic, dehydrated and hydrated back. Much easier to do than doing the actual mincing. All the Chinese restaurants do the same thing, to be honest with you. And then you're gonna stir fry the garlic. This is a laborious process, so I'm gonna prepare the crab in the meantime. I use a live crab. I'm gonna delete the queasy part for you folks. And then what you're gonna do is after you clean the live crab, you're gonna, and then obviously it's gonna look like that. You're gonna put it into corn starch because we're gonna fry the crab. And the garlic is done. And once you're gonna fry the crab, this part is the part that actually makes the crab taste good. I know it's counterintuitive, so I suppose you can use dead crabs too, but I don't know if you can tell the difference. Now we're gonna put the dish together with some ginger and some black bean sauce, or black bean, basically black beans. You're gonna put the crab in there along with a little bit of panko. That's optional to make it crunchiness. And then you're gonna put back the fried garlic that we did. And then the only thing you want to add to it is basically a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and the dish is done. It is super simple. In hindsight, I shouldn't have made too much because it was hard for me to stir everything because I didn't have a big enough wok. So just watch the amount that you do in there, because you don't want the fried garlic to burn, because if it burns, it doesn't taste as good. And so that was the only thing that I wish I'd done, is not make too many, because I cooked 2 crabs along with shrimps. But it looks so fabulous and it tastes fabulous. The fried garlic aromas in the whole house. You're not going to escape it. And it was a very fun dish and easy, tasty dish to make. If you eat it in a restaurant, that would set you well over $100. And it costs like, I don't know, 25 bucks. You know, it's cheaper than eating a ribeye, to be honest with you. In eating a ribeye, it's like these crabs where I'm at is like $13 a pound. A ribeye is basically $17 a pound. I can't believe crabs cost less than a ribeye. But hey, that's the life that we live now in the USA. I used to remember on the shrimps, those shrimps are like $5.99 a pound. I made this soup too in one of the other videos. I'll put a link on the description below for that fish soup. And that fish soup is really easy to make as well. And so, you know, I like to cook because I need to eat, and I like to eat good food and fresh food. And also I know ingredients I put in there. If I go to a restaurant, they probably put MSG in there. And by the way, out of the whole crab, that's actually the best part. I'm sorry. That is actually the best part. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I burpee to eat and I eat to burpee. And I try to make recipes easy for my family, my kids, so they can, when they need to make something, they can go refer to Dad's video on YouTube, how to make them. All my recipes are super easy to make, simply because I don't have time to make complex ones. My wife does those kind of stuff, and it's too laborious even for me to go in and videotape her making it. So that is it. The rest of it is mukbang. There's nothing like crab the Typhoon shelter way. The ginger scallion way is great too. I made that too. I'll put a description with a link below for the video I done for the ginger scallion crab. And that's it. So again, I burpee to eat and eat to burpee. On one of these corners, I'm gonna put the like a video of me doing Superman shorts and muscle ups. If you're down this far, please hit that like and subscribe button. Food is medicine. Food is life. Eat good food, and health is wealth. And if you're down this far, please hit that like and subscribe. Bless up.